Hey everybody, it's Jordan Higgs, and I'm here to talk to you about the BettorOff app. Now, what is the BettorOff app, and why should you download? Pretty much we're here to make you a better, and we do that through deep data analytics on all of our users' picks that you can either see or subscribe to. Now, if you're a really good bettor, you can set up a privatized channel for people to subscribe to, and you can make money that way as well as your picks. If you're a bad bettor, like me, it's super helpful because you can go through and find these users to help you make your bets. Download today from the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store. Enjoy the podcast.
Let's just get a clap on 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Perfectly in sync.
Jordan, that was terrible.
I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. You come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. 713 through the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me, I'm flying. Sipping low key, I'm sipping low key at Onyx, find a rider. I get those goosebumps every time, you come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time.
Welcome everyone back to episode 2 of the BettorOff Premiercast. My name's Harry. I'm here with Jordan and a brand new face on the podcast. We have Dan with us today.
Hi, everyone.
Jordan, do you want to introduce Dan? Dan, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'll let Jordan do it. That's way more fun.
Oh man. Well, I've known Dan for a few years. He's actually my coach in college back in Tennessee, and I'm gonna defer to Dan to talk about he's had some playing experience in the Premier League at Sheffield United and some coaching experience and kind of gone all around. So if you want to explain on that.
As Jordan said, I've been coaching now for the last probably 25 years. Before that, I was played 8 years with Sheffield United. Played for my national team, England, in futsal, and also coached a few professional teams as well. So got a bit of a broad knowledge of the game, and hopefully that translates to this.
A more impressive resume than either of us. That's the simple version.
I'm 3 seasons in on my FIFA record, and I'm pretty impressive. So
yeah.
There you go. Well, we could jump right into it. Premier League's back. Honestly, a pretty fun opening weekend, if you ask me. And it started off hot. Arsenal versus Brentford.
Yeah.
Jordan, do you want to give us your first takes on that? On like your state of Arsenal, what happened during that game?
So that was so much fun to watch. And I called Dan, or Dan called me, and he said, "Did you see that Brentford goal?" And I said, "I got goosebumps." And he said, "Me too." It was just so awesome. Welcome to the Premier League, Brentford. Having the fans back, it couldn't have started in a better way. It was just really cool to watch, and exciting way to kick off the season.
Dan, what did you make of that opening game?
Yeah, I agree with Jordan. I think every year there's always that thought of, okay, these newly promoted teams, how are they going to come out? Are they going to come out first game and try and scrape a point? Get 3 points. How are they going to come out and tactically deal with the opposition? And it just reminded me of Norwich's first game in their first season when they came back up, and they just went all guns blazing, no respect for the Premier League opponents, and they blew them away. I thought it could have been more. I like the look of Brentford. I like what they've got, so it'll be an interesting season for them.
Yeah, Brentford really came out and just kind of commanded the game from the start. It was almost like Arsenal didn't know how to play the Brentford style of football or against it. Brentford came out with way more, in my opinion, like team solidarity, right? They just battled up to the championship. Arsenal just looked like chickens running with their heads cut off.
Yeah, there's always that question asked about Arsenal. It's which team are we going to get this week? And I think it almost looked like there was a lot of. It looked like they thought it was going to be an easy game. You look at the team sheet. Obviously, it's missing Aubameyang and Lacazette, which COVID or illness or whatever they had. But just in terms of the other names on the team sheet, as soon as I saw it, I called Jordan. I said, "This is not going to be an easy game for Arsenal. Like this, I thought Brentford were going to win when I saw the team sheet. I just don't know where they go from here."
Yeah, I mean, Twitter is always quick to jump to conclusions. Is a manager change necessary?
I saw Arteta out pretty much everywhere on Twitter, and actually that was one of my favorite things to look through during that game, was just to scroll through and see the raving Arsenal fans about another Arsenal season down the drain after first game.
Well, that's the best thing about any Premier League weekend is the Arsenal Twitter fans.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I can't. There's a guy that I follow. I can't remember what his name is, but every week, he pops up on either Instagram or Twitter, and he's just ridiculing the managers, and he's like, "He needs to go. This is terrible." But I just don't. He had the best, the best manager that we've seen, in the Premier League for a while, as his leader, as his example. And I think he's trying to play the Pep way, but he's playing it with the wrong players. It's easy to do that way at Man City when you've got everyone who can play with a ball at their feet. Arsenal don't have the same quality, nowhere near that Man City had. I think they've bought badly the last few years in the transfer market. I think they've sold badly. I think getting rid of Willock after what he did, at Newcastle for the last 10 games last year was one of the worst decisions. They've got a few good players in there, but there's teams in the Premier League that have to buy unknown players because they don't have the prestige of your Cities, your Tottenhams, your Liverpools. I'll say Leicester just for Jordan's sake. But Arsenal shouldn't be one of those teams. They should be buying big name signings. And every time I see something that comes up on a website, I'm like, I've never heard of this guy. Like, where's this person coming from? And I don't think they're going to get anywhere if they continue the tradition of what they're currently doing.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, it's when you first think about it, it seems harsh to call for a management change after the first game, but it's not like he's coaching a new team. Have they done anything this transfer window besides extend contracts with academy players or homegrown players?
Yeah, they bought Ben White in, and I think he was exposed very early on of he's not good in the air. Any other team that is watching that now is going to be bombarding their box with ball, just high balls into the box. He's not great in the air, great with the ball at his feet, but everyone says, oh, we need a ball playing defender, but pretty much every team now, if you go through the top 6, they all have a decent centre back that can play, long balls and balls over the top, and they're accurate with them. It's not like 15 years ago where centre backs were just, let's just smash the forward as they come in. Like, everyone now can play with the ball at their feet, so it's nothing special when you bring someone like that in. They should all be able to do that. You want your centre back to command the box, win aerial battles. He doesn't do that.
Arteta now is 5-1 tied favorite to be first manager sacked in the Premier League. So,
who's he tied with?
Munoz.
It's one of those, either they have to give him the whole season, or they have to get rid of him early doors and get someone in to try and cement their, strategy on the pitch, because you can't go half a season, get rid of him at Christmas, and then expect miracles from the new guy to come in. So you want to give him a full season.
There might not even be good people to come in. I mean, that was the issue with Tottenham. Like, nobody wanted to come in, and there's not really that many great managers available.
Yeah.
I mean, we could spend the next hour and a half talking about Arsenal and their woes, but let's move on a little. We're going to see Arsenal throughout the season. maybe in match week 3 because next up they have Chelsea, but
Oh.
we'll see. But yeah, going back, Brentford was an amazing game, or an amazing like atmosphere for the first game back with fans in a while. Did any of the other newly promoted teams impress you guys? Watford, Norwich, what do we think?
Norwich didn't even seem to be in the game, to be honest. It's hard to look at them and kind of give an inkling on where they're going to be based on them playing against Liverpool. They couldn't really. The only other game they could have got would have been Man City. Maybe United, the way that they played. But I don't think we'll see. I don't think we'll be able to tell much on Norwich until we see them play against some of the other same level teams, I would say.
Yep.
And then Watford, they surprised me. I thought Watford would be the team that came up and would be scraping 1-0s, tying. I didn't think they'd be scoring 3 goals in the game. Having said that, I don't think Villa look anywhere near the team that they are, now without Grealish. So, and that's another talking point. So many talking points this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can jump to Villa without Grealish. I mean, they spent the money they got for him, right? They have a brand new front three. Putting up 0 in your first game is never a good look, especially against a newly promoted team.
It's just
I think I won it.
they got 2. They scored 2 in the last two in the last like 5 minutes, but one was a penalty. Ings is proven, so I like that buy. The only thing that kind of baffles me with it is, when you've got someone like Ollie Watkins who did such a good job last year, do you need an Ings, or would the money have been better off spent elsewhere? Buendia, who they've bought in, everyone's raving about him. I'm not his biggest fan. If you look at what he did in the Championship last year, fantastic. If you look at what he did in the Premier League the last time he was in the Premier League with Norwich, he scored 1 goal in 36 games. I don't want my attacking midfielder scoring 1 goal in 36 games, especially when I'm paying that kind of money. And I think he had 5 assists, 5-6 assists, something like that. If you compare that to what Grealish was giving them, I think that money was badly spent.
Now, do you think keeping Grealish would have made too much of a difference for Villa, or you think the $100 million will help them in the long run?
I think if they'd have spent the 100 million well, I could see, he wanted to go. So, you can never keep a player there that's unhappy. That causes more issues. That's another talking point. But I think if they'd have spent it well, I think bringing in Ings, proven goal scorer, they kept it under the radar. They did well to get him. Did they need him? I don't think so. I think Watkins was doing a fantastic job, and now you're going to push Watkins out wide left where he played for Brentford. I don't see any benefit in doing that. And then I like Leon Bailey. Again, is he going to do it in the Premier League? I don't think he hit double digits ever with Leverkusen. And when you're losing someone of Grealish's ability, who, how many assists did he get last year? 15 plus and probably 10 goals or something. I think you've got, you have to replace like for like, and I don't think they did that. I think their back 4 are weak. I think they really, they did a really good job in picking up Martinez from Arsenal, another player Arsenal shouldn't have let go. Now they're trying to buy, who's the goalkeeper from Bournemouth? Ramsdale. Trying to buy Ramsdale from Bournemouth. What are they doing? But I think they could have done better spending that 100 million elsewhere.
What are you supposed to do when you get these big teams, like the Man Cities coming in, they're offering stupid money for players? Like, you'd be a fool to turn it down. So it just comes down to, hey, let's just sell off our good players whenever we get them. Hopefully we can spend them correctly, take a gamble on some people. Well,
I think, the thing that frustrates me with it, I'm from Birmingham, so I have a lot of friends who are Villa fans, and a lot of them are mad at the sense of, this is his club apparently, this is, who he supports, there should be no money that should make him want to move. I get, hey, I want to play in the Champions League and, I want to do all this other stuff, but he's 25 years old, have another 2 seasons at the Villa, give him everything, let him know that hey, if we don't reach Champions League by another 2-3 years, I'm going to go off and and try and do that somewhere else. But the fact that he did the whole, I know how Messi felt because that's just how I felt. I'm like, Messi was there forever, and they just couldn't keep him. You asked to leave. You even put a clause in your contract that said you have to accept it if we don't qualify for Champions League. So, I can see it from both sides. I think if he'd have stayed at Villa, he would have been a legend. They would have built a statue of him, and I don't think he's going to have that at Man City. There's too many other players that are loved and adored there, and he's not going to be one of them 10 years down the line.
2 games before he's rotating out.
Yeah. You think? We can jump around our little cheat sheet a little bit more and not go in order and talk about Grealish's performance. I mean, I think he was one of Man City's better players on the field, if not their best. But were they utilizing him in the right way? Like him and Sterling constantly overlapping, it just seemed like a strange system to me.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to fit him in. I think playing him in centre midfield, I don't think you get the best of him. I can see why Pep's doing it. He wants to, he's using him to keep the ball, get the ball moving, pace of play, draw fouls. Yep. But Jordan, I'll tell you, I've never been a fan of Sterling. I think if you take away his pace, I don't think he's a Premier League player. I think he would struggle in the Championship if he didn't have his pace. That's what he brings. I think Grealish will be 10 times the player of him. I just don't think he's going to get that opportunity to play in that position. And it made sense originally because it looked like Sterling was going to go. They looked like they were bringing in Grealish to replace Sterling, and then Sterling stayed, and now they've got 2 players that play in that position.
So I don't know if you guys saw this.
That's the tough part about having a billion-dollar squad.
Yeah.
Right? So you have too many players of quality that run into each other, and what are you going to do? Sorry, Jordan. What were you saying?
You're good. I don't know if you guys saw this week, but did anyone happen to see the story on Pep Guardiola and watching the flock of geese, and he's going to implement their V formation into his tactics?
The flying V.
Ducks stick together, right? Yeah! So let's see it. Show me the flying V.
Yeah, the flying V. Yeah, this week it came out.
Took lessons from Gordon Bombay.
Yeah, the Mighty Ducks.
He was doing a drone footage, and he came out and he was bewildered, and he pretty much said, like, I've watched these and I can see how we can implement this strategy into our team. So Pep is either a genius or he's starting to lose it.
He's starting to lose it.
We're gonna have to see. But like, what if anything, their game against Spurs? I'm a Spurs fan. I don't know what I want to happen with Harry Kane at this point. He kind of he's left a sour taste in the mouth of fans. But this game, I think, showed that City need Kane or someone like Kane. They need that target man in the box. They were in dangerous positions, but not creating dangerous opportunities.
See, and that's something that I've kind of toyed around with for a while now since I've heard the whole news on Kane going to City. I just don't know what he brings different. What does he bring extra to what they don't have now? They already finished the Premier League top of the league. They outscored their opponents by 10 plus goals. They got to the Champions League final. They're going to spend 120 million to bring him in to hope he does what extra for them. They can't win the Premier League. That's the thing is I don't know what the reason is for wanting him to bring him in. I think if they gave Jesus a chance, his average goal rate for them is obviously not as good as Kane's, but I think if you put him in that team and you give him a starting run for a good few months, I think you see the benefits of saving that 120 plus million, and I think you see the best of Jesus. He's still young. They bought him at I think he was like 19, 20 when they bought him. He's still young now. I just don't see if it was somebody like, Liverpool, Man United, and they need a forward to propel them to the top of the league into the Champions League final, that makes sense. I just don't know what he brings extra to them.
To me, it seemed like they needed that guy in the box who's going to win the aerial headers, who's going to lead the attack. But the confusing thing is Kane had his best season in recent history last season when he kind of dropped as a false nine because Spurs play with 2 CDMs. It doesn't seem like he would fit in with Man City if he plays the way that he played so well with Spurs, right? He would get in the way of De Bruyne, Grealish. It'd be almost like a cluster at the top of the box, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I keep playing around with it, and what, they get Kane so they win the league by 15 goals this year rather than 10. I just don't see the benefit of spending that much money. I think Spurs need to hold on to him. They're 100% a better team, and I think that's the difference. Is Spurs need him more than Man City need it. So if I'm the chairman at Spurs, like everyone said, if it's not written in that contract, a gentleman's agreement means nothing.
So how do you deal with that if you are Dan Levy at Spurs? Harry Kane's obviously unhappy. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to be playing Champions League football.
Well, he's a Tottenham player. He's paid by Tottenham. He needs to do his job. How long has he got left on his contract? He just signed a contract, last year?
I think 3 more years.
Yeah.
So how old is he now? 27, 28?
28.
I think 28, yeah.
28. So when he's 31, he can decide what he wants to do. That's as mean and nasty as it is to say, that's what the contracts are for. Some clubs get them to sign new contracts so they can sell them for more money the following year. I don't think,
But this goes back to my point. What if they throw a $150 million, $160 million offer? They meet the asking price. How can you turn that down? That's an insane amount of money.
So good point. Okay, but who do you replace him with?
That is true. You put Son on top and you cross your fingers.
That's the other point of it is, some players, when they say they're irreplaceable or that there's no money that can buy them, it's not necessarily we're not going to accept a huge fee for it. It's okay, well, if we accept it, who do we bring in that's going to bring me 15, 20 plus goals every season? And if no one's available,
so late in the window too.
Yeah, if no one's available, then you're now just stuck with 150 million, and great. Now we'll just play Son up top.
Who do you pick up? Mbappe's not coming.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's not going to come. Haaland's not going to come.
No.
Those are the levels of strikers you need to replace.
Yeah.
Can you hold off till January?
You put Harry Kane. He's a top 10 striker in the world. There's no ifs or buts about it. And then you look at the other 9 strikers. They're all at clubs that they want to be at, playing Champions League football. So you've now got to try and remove one of them from a club that's playing Champions League to go to a club where the guy's trying to leave because he wants to play Champions League. There's no sense for any forward to do that.
Right. It's getting ugly in the Spurs camp, and I hate it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because he's come out and openly said, I never said that I didn't want to train and that I wasn't going to come back. And, so there's 2 sides to every story. So, we don't really know what the truth is. When you first hear it from the club, you're like, oh, that sounds like what he's done because he's still on vacation. And then he comes back and says, well, I didn't say that. And you're like, oh, I love Harry Kane again. So it's, you just don't know what to believe at this point. I think it'll be interesting to see if he plays this weekend. I think that we'll know a lot more from, having him trained. Yesterday was his first day back. I think we'll see him this weekend.
So if let's stick with some top 6 teams. United looked a little bit dangerous this weekend. A lot of it dangerous.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy about it. Having said that,
you're playing Leeds.
I think if City, Liverpool, Spurs, even Leicester, I think if any of those had played against Leeds this last weekend, they looked so open at the back. It was incredible. It was complete Beelzebul of, we're going to go out and we're going to score more goals than you. That's what it looked like. We're going to win this game 7-5. It's even at 5-1, it looked it looked like there was more and more goals coming.
They did have the goal of the week, I think. Ayling, I think it was, just an absolute screamer.
That was a good goal. I think Bruno's volley was pretty special too.
Yeah.
I think there were some good goals this weekend.
We'll leave it for the polls. We'll put it up.
Yeah.
So does this really good opening game are Man United title contenders, do we think?
No.
Or do you think it's
I don't think anyone's title contenders this year apart from City. I don't see anyone touching them again. I think Liverpool are missing probably three players. I think Man United are probably missing 2 or 3. I don't think you can win a league with McTominay playing and Fred. I don't see them winning. I think it'll be interesting to see how Varane fits in. There's still questions over the goalkeeper. Which one are they going to play? I've still got huge questions over Solskjaer. I do not think he is a top manager at all. I think he's in the spot because of the reputation he has with Man United. I just don't think anyone touches City. I think it's going to be really hard for anyone to touch them for the next few years, especially if they keep buying the way they're playing or buying the way they're planning to buy.
Yeah, right, Harry?
Sorry, I made this mixed drink just too strong.
Well, it's 13% odds on Manchester United winning the Premier League. ESPN FC just put out today. Manchester City, 33% odds, which I think is a little bit low.
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly low.
Yeah.
What's Chelsea? Chelsea are the only ones I feel like can touch them this year.
19%. So
Yeah,
between the
Chelsea
four.
are the only ones. Chelsea are the only ones that I can really see competing. I think Tuchel's come in. I think he's done a great job. I think he's bought well. He's got some great youngsters coming through. I would say it's probably going to be City, Chelsea, Liverpool, United would be the top 4, I think, this year.
So what do you think it's going to take for Liverpool to get back to title contenders? Because we were talking about this last week. The way I saw Liverpool, especially last season when they were dealing with their injuries, but even this past weekend, it just seems like they expect to be given the win. It doesn't seem like they really... It seems like they're like, oh, we're Liverpool, we're going to score goals. It doesn't seem like anyone's really going to take initiative.
Well, yeah, I think having Van Dijk back is going to be huge. There was a lot of injuries that we had last year.
Yeah, a lot.
So I think having a fit squad, having more depth in the squad is going to be huge. But I feel like, Liverpool kind of came out with the whole Barcelona approach from a few years ago, and it was the first time we'd seen it in a while in the Premier League of the high press. And Klopp had it down to a T of this is how we play the high press, and it worked really, really well. And I think teams now have kind of started to figure out how to deal with it. And I think we need to figure out a new way of being creative. And I think Pep's done a great job in, when City have that possession game of the tiki-taka, and, they have other ways of scoring goals. And I think Liverpool's still kind of set in their ways of, well, this is how we're going to score, and if we don't score, we're going to keep trying this way until we do score. There's no adaptation in the tactics, and I would like to see a little bit more of that. They're very one-dimensional. I think, having Firmino up top, I like Firmino, but I want my forward to score goals, and I don't think he scores enough goals as a forward. I think he'd be better off as an attacking mid and buying, a number 9. So I think it's going to be a while before Liverpool compete again. And when I say compete, I don't mean, finishing second and losing by 20 points, because that's not competing, that's just finishing second. But I don't see anyone touching City for a while.
All right. So we can look ahead into a few of the big games next weekend. I think the biggest one that I'm looking forward to is Chelsea, Arsenal, it's two historically top like big six teams. I don't know what to say. The odds on this are very confusing to me. Chelsea is, I think, minus 125. Am I reading that right? Yeah, minus 125.
That's just because it's a London. That's just because it's a London.
Yeah.
It's just because it's a London derby, and they're expecting Arsenal to bounce back, and Aubameyang will probably be back, so will Lacazette. I think the bookies have just been smart with it. I think if they'd have lumped money on Chelsea, a tie is not a bad bet in that game. Typically Arsenal pull it out in the derbies, and
it's at the Emirates.
Yeah.
Does Lukaku make his Chelsea debut? What do we think? Is it time? Or re-debut, I should say.
I don't think he'll start. I think we might see him. I just don't think I don't think he'll start.
60th minute, down 1-0, sub on.
I just he's got to gel with the squad. He's got to train first. He's got to get back to full fitness. I don't know how much he's been doing with Inter Milan since he's been out. Knowing that he was coming here. So it's really going to depend on how he is physically. But I think if they do play him, who do they drop? It's got to be Werner, but he just seems to like him so much. He tries him in every position.
I think Pulisic might get dropped. He's one of those guys who I know he's been playing so well, but he loves Werner. Loves him. And Werner does open up the field. He may not be scoring the goals, but he does move those spaces open for the attackers to score.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a tough one.
I don't know. I get he likes Werner, but Pulisic has been finding his form recently, and Werner just hasn't looked confident on the ball since he's been in the Premier League. Does he have a full season now? Just one?
Just one. I think Lukaku might bring out the best in him though. A guy holding the ball up, flicking the ball on. Werner running in behind. I think I think they will see some more benefits from just having Lukaku as the big powerful forward up top. I think if he plays Werner off him, I don't know if that's the plan or not, but it seems like he likes to play Werner out wide left.
That's a crowded midfield. You've got Mount, you've got Pulisic, you've got Ziyech, you've got all those guys, Werner, who are just sitting in that space, who are pretty interchangeable to start or not start. So Chelsea's kind of getting to that Man City point of, hey, we're starting to get crowded, which is not a bad problem to have.
Yeah, not with the amount of games that come so quickly and with injuries. I definitely agree.
I think Werner's definitely benefited from the depth that Chelsea has after their spending spree last year. If they weren't getting the results that they were, and he was missing the sitters that he's missed in the past year, his head would be on a spike outside of Stamford Bridge. But hopefully, I love Lukaku. He was a beast on FIFA 17, and I loved him. Hopefully he brings out the best in him, but I don't know. I don't see Chelsea really, or Arsenal really holding on to Chelsea this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be a good test for Arsenal. And I think, as I mentioned earlier with the whole Ben White situation, his physical presence and in the air, I think if Lukaku does play, I think he throws him around like a ragdoll. That could be brutal. I've never liked Arsenal's since Arsenal lost Tony Adams back in the day. I don't think Arsenal have really, looked incredibly strong. When they had Sol Campbell came in and replaced him for a while, then he went,
Are you telling me David Luiz didn't fix everything?
No, oh no. But yeah, since the Invincibles, that was the, I don't think they've that back four has even touched 50% of what they were then, and that goes back to Bad. I think Arsenal's strategy, everyone wanted Wenger out for so long, and they got it, and I think they regret that so much. There's going to be times when managers have bad stints. Look at Ferguson when he first joined Man United. They wanted him out, and look what he did. So people just need time sometimes.
So I think another good game this weekend. Jordan, your boys, to finish off the weekend, are they hosting or are they traveling to West Ham?
It's at West Ham, I think.
It's at West Ham, yeah. Monday.
And West Ham looked good the other day.
That game was a battle.
That was one of the best games I've watched in a long time. That was end to end. Like, let's go. Newcastle really surprised me. I did not think they would come out with that energy. Going up twice and then West Ham, pulling it back. That shows that they've got a different mentality than what they've had in years past. I don't see Leicester winning that one. I think it's either going to be a draw or I think West Ham sneak it. I think Antonio's just a beast up top.
We are shaky at the back.
He's a hard man to stop.
He is, and I think when you've got Amati as your centre back right now, I don't know if Vestergaard will start.
Vestergaard came in. He came in, played 40 minutes, which was actually really surprising. He thought he was only going to get 5 in an interview. A nice 6'6" center back in there now. He is slow. He's practically the Titanic walking around there. But
that's what I mean. And you got Antonio playing off him.
Yeah,
who's not slow.
Yeah, so we'll see how that partnership is. You do have the Schmeichel-Vestergaard partnership, which hopefully makes things gel a little bit better. And, Vardy's scoring a goal again, so maybe he's going to hit form. Maybe we'll see Patson Daka.
I'm still excited to see him. Jordan spoke rave reviews about him. I'm yet to see him.
It's going to be one to look out for. But these are, I think, the most even odds of the weekend. West Ham, a little bit of an edge at plus 165. Leicester at plus 170. But
yeah, I think these are the two that fight for sixth and seventh this year. I think it's between these two teams. I don't Everton maybe. I don't know how good Rafa does of a job there, but I think it's going to be between Leicester and West Ham this year.
Dan, let's look at your team. I don't know who Klopp paid off at the Premier League, but you start Norwich and Burnley.
I'll tell you, Burnley's not an easy game. It's away at Burnley as well.
A cold night at Burnley.
Yeah, it's away, isn't it? Is it away?
No, it's at home.
Oh, it's at home? Okay. That makes me feel a little bit easier. We've just never dealt well with Burnley. Burnley have that that direct ball in the air. Now we've got Van Dijk back. That will be a huge help. I want to see Kanate play. I really like the look of him. Matip doesn't really do it for me. Obviously, we're still missing Robertson. Midfield 3 looked very strange last game. I did not expect to see Milner, Oxlade, Chamberlain and Cater playing. That was very, very surprising.
Norwich, you might as well test out some guys.
Yeah, but I'm one of those, I've told you this many times, Jordan, I'm one of these who I'd rather get the result first and then bring them on. Not, hey, let's start with the weak team and then have to try and pull it back. Let's get the 2-3-0 lead and then we can make some subs and rest some players. So it'd be interesting to see. I thought it was odd that Fabinho didn't start. Jota did start, Firmino on the bench. Be interesting to see if he starts Jota again. I really like Jota. I think he brings a lot more goal scoring prowess than Firmino. I would love to see the 4 of them all together. I'd love to see Firmino behind Jota, Salah out on the right, Mane out on the left, and then have 2 holding players like Fabinho and I wish we still had Wijnaldum, but he's gone. But someone else playing alongside him, maybe Henderson. But yeah, I don't know. We've got they all seem to be the same player, those 4 up front. So I don't know how he keeps them happy with the rotation. We've talked about rotation a lot. But yeah, I liked how they looked. Tsimikas, left back, thought he did well when he played. He's no Robertson, but I think he'll do a good job filling in. Especially like you said, we've got a few easy fixtures coming up, so I don't think we'll miss Robertson too much.
Yeah, that's a good way to start a season when you have a few injury problems.
Minus 550 Liverpool is to win it. So
yeah. I wonder what the odds would have been before Burnley gave away their goal lead and lost 3-1 last week. That would have
that'd
been
be
interesting to see what changed, because Burnley typically are one of those teams, if they get the lead, they can hold on.
Yeah.
They throw everything at it.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that Brighton came back and scored 3, I don't think that looks too good for them.
And then we can finish off R3. My Spurs traveling to Wolves. So Nuno's going back to his old stomping grounds. Honestly, last weekend was the most fun I had watching a Spurs game in years. I think if they just they keep up the energy, keep up the momentum, I think this shouldn't be a problem. But you never know as a Spurs fan.
I'm just glad he's got Delhi playing again.
I'm so happy Delhi is playing.
Yeah, and I'm not talking for. I'm talking more for England in my sake than for Spurs. I don't want him doing well for Spurs, but yeah, I think he was one of England's top prospects for a long time. When he came over from MK Dons to Spurs, he kind of lit it up for a while, and then
Young player of the year. Yeah, electric.
and then Marino came in, and I don't know. I kind of feel like he's he did that with Luke Shaw, and now look at Luke Shaw, and I kind of feel like Delhi's going to have the same impact of, hey, I've now got a manager that likes me again. I think we'll see more from him. I still think Spurs are missing 2 really good wide players. I'm not a fan of Mora. I'm not a fan of Bergwijn. But I think Son, Ali, and if they keep Kane, it's three dangerous players. Don't know too much about the new centre back that they just bought. I think it's going to be very hard. I was always a huge fan of Vertonghen and Alderweireld, so I think it's going to be always going to be hard to replace those two.
Yeah.
They are the gold standard, those two, when it comes to Spurs defending.
Yeah, I really want to see more of Doherty. I think hopefully Nuno will start bringing him back in, although Tanganga the other day was,
A
I think, was man of
monster.
the match.
He ran
I think
through everybody.
At one point he just bounced off Sterling. Sterling just disappeared. So it'd be interesting to see, because I know Doherty was one of his favourites when he was at Wolves. So it'd be interesting to see if he, goes back to that 3-5-2 that he used to play there. Maybe Tanganga.
If there's competition on any of our wide defender roles, I'll be happy. If we're not dealing with Serge Aurier.
Oh, he's the worst.
Turning over the ball and then giving a penalty.
How he's a professional player.
If we can sell him for a bag of balls this transfer window, get him out.
He is one of those that I just look at and I go, how did you ever make it? Like, I just don't understand. Like, who was the scout that went, this guy's got it? That guy needs to be fired.
Attackers go at Aurier, I get nervous.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets back to the box. I'm like, oh, okay, start the penalty already.
And when he's on a yellow card, it's like, when's the next one coming? Here we go. But no, I like the look of Spurs. Spurs are always a team that I've kind of admired as a fan. I like the way that they've played in the past. I like the way that they bring youngsters through. But yeah, I think Spurs will just pip it this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a 1-1, but I think they may just nip it.
Yeah. All right. So, any last thoughts from any of you guys?
You guys
going
think
into match week 2?
You guys think any big transfer window signings? Have we missed the? Has everything gone through that's gonna be big, or are we waiting on one last big surprise?
There's nothing that I'm seeing in the pipeline that gets me excited that I think is going to happen.
Fair
so
enough.
that's not
I'm
saying
never
that.
ruling out.
Yeah.
I'm never ruling out Mbappe to Real and then Ronaldo to PSG.
Well,
just to get Ronaldo and Messi playing together.
So I was reading this morning that Liverpool have a plan to bring in Mbappe on a free next year. I don't know how it works, but apparently it's been in the pipeline for a while. It's all been worked on. It sounds way too good to be true. But I would be very, very happy as a Liverpool fan. Is that the same
news outlet that says Arsenal has a plan to get Haaland for free in 2 years or something like that?
No, this was reputable. This was Sky Sports.
There you go.
I thought you said it was reputable.
Wow.
Shots
but
fired.
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't see any big ones. I don't think coming in.
I just think it's too late for like big headline signings right now.
Yeah.
No team wants to do that this late into the transfer window, I don't think. I mean, we've seen it before, but I don't see it.
I think if Kane goes to Spurs, there's going to be some swap with a cash money deal going on. Maybe for Jesus, probably, if he wants to go. It's got to be something.
I saw
wouldn't be.
Sterling, and I would rather die than get rid of Kane, get money, and Sterling.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jesus would not be a bad move for him to Spurs.
I think if Jesus knew that he was like the number one striker and he was going, just get him in a groove and show confidence in him, and I think you get 50% more out of him.
I agree. Yeah, I think he could do wonders for Spurs. I think if they could get 100 million in Jesus, I would take that probably in a heartbeat.
I don't know. Levy is a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah,
he's dug his heels in.
He's one that I would not want as my chairman.
Speaking of bitch, sorry, I just had to mention this. I don't know if any of you saw the Wolves game, but their new arm sponsor, I've got it there in the notes. If you want to look at it, I'll put it on the podcast. But you tell me what it looks like at a quick glance. It's a Bitkey or something like that. Definitely in the notes there. I'll put it up.
I'm looking
Definitely
it
looks like you have bitch on the armband.
Wolves arm sponsor.
I just think that's funny to have on the arm of Adama Traore.
Yeah.
The craziest soccer player I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It says Eros.
Did we see his miss? Did you guys see his one-on-one miss against Leicester? If you haven't, you need to watch it.
I did not.
And it is Adama Traore perfection. Beats everybody at the halfway line, about 20 yards in front of everybody, one-on-one with Schmeichel, pops it off to the side. It made me so happy.
I did not see it. I want to leave you with this. I tell you who did really like the game the other day, who I was super surprised about. St. Maximin from Newcastle. He was unreal the other night.
He's a monster. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, with him and Willock, when they get together, if Newcastle could find a decent forward,
it's gonna be interesting to see. I think there's after last weekend, I don't know if the regulation picture is quite as clear as it was. There are a few surprises to me, so
I still think Newcastle go down.
Oh yeah, hey Dan,
just
just for you real quick, who your top your bottom three picks, and who's your top four real quick? Well, I guess you gave us your top four already.
Newcastle, Watford, Norwich.
All right.
And you give us your top four. Who goes 5, 6?
I think so. I think it goes City 1, Liverpool 2. City 1, Chelsea 2, Liverpool 3, United 4. I think Tottenham 5. I think Leicester 6, West Ham, Arsenal. I think 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7 is going to be more of a battle than 1, 2, 3.
That's what we said last week. We said that after the top four, it is tight.
Yeah, I think if Arsenal get Maddison, that could be one that goes. By the way, by the end of transfer window, I think if Arsenal get Maddison, I think that leaves Leicester in.
Don't do that.
And I'm gonna keep picking Leicester players in my fantasy team because every time I do, they get injured. So I keep doing it just to annoy Jordan.
There you go. Well, all right. I think that wraps us up. A little bit long today, but I think we had really good insights. Yeah. And we finally have someone who knows what he's talking about.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Hopefully Dan can join us for more in the future. But
definitely.
Until next time, this was the Better Off Premiercast, episode 2. Jordan, I'll see you in the Europa League next year.
No.
Hopefully, Dan, Liverpool stays in the Champions League. All right, we're done. We're out.
All right.
Have a good one.